Pat was also a bit verbose. Pat's response to the theme of what she's going to do these last days of summer, listen to this. She's been working, lifting weights, putting finishing touches on her adolescent novel, starting another novel, finishing the book that she's reading, yada, 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 and in her spare time, she's going to sleep. Pat Patterson, bicycle birthday, Pat Patterson.
On my sister Helen's 10th birthday, she got a bicycle. And I was so excited because my birthday was 2.5 weeks later. And I thought I'd get a bicycle too. But I didn't. And Mother said, it wouldn't be fair to your sister Helen if you got a bicycle. She had to wait until she was 10. You'll have to wait until you are 10 too. 10. From then on, 10 was my magic number. 10. Whenever I drank, I took 10 swallows of water from the empty cup. Whenever I ran and I got all out of breath, I forced myself to take 10 more steps. And then, whenever somebody said, pick a number between a 1 and 10, it was always 10. Somehow I thought that would make my 10th birthday come sooner. And at last, finally, it was the day before my 10th birthday. I was so excited. The day, I was more excited than I was before Christmas because the bicycle was the biggest thing that ever happened to me. But I wasn't going to let on to the family. I was going to let them go through with their surprise when they gave it to me. So I couldn't keep it. I had to tell somebody. So I went next door and I told Faith, who was the girl, that she was 16 and her family was from Greece. They had gone through the horrors of World War II before they moved to our neighborhood. And I went across the street to Laura, who was an older lady. And she was my best friend. I confided everything in her. And I said, Laura, tomorrow I get my bicycle. I'll be 10. And Helen got one on her birthday. And Mother told me I'd get one on my birthday, too. And Laura said, wonderful. You'll have to come over and show it to me after school. I said, I will. And I went over to Faith, and Faith said, bicycle is a big present for 10th birthday. I said, I know, but Helen got one on her 10th birthday, and I'm going to get one, too. And she said, okay, I ride your bicycle. I said, all right, I'll share with you. And she said, I ride to Greece. Well, I knew she was pulling my leg, so I went along with it. I said, you can't ride across the ocean. She said, I ride to ship, and ship take me across the ocean. And then I ride your bicycle in Greece. And I laughed. And then that night when I went to bed, I could hardly go to sleep. I was so excited. And the next morning I got up and it was my 10th birthday. It was my bicycle birthday. I got dressed, I put on my clothes, and I ran downstairs. And I looked in the living room, in the family room, and in the kitchen, and no bicycle. And there on my plate was a wrapped present. So I went over and I opened it up. And there was a pair of roller skates. And I thought, oh, it has to be a joke. And I said, all right, where is it? And Mother said, where is what? I said, my bicycle. You promised me a bicycle on my 10th birthday. And Mother said, well, that was because we didn't know that back then your father was going to get sick for several months and be in the hospital. And we have too many bills that we can't afford a bicycle. And I said, but you promised. And Mother said, well, surely you can understand we can't afford it right now. But I couldn't understand. And I said, you like Helen more than you like me. And Mother said, now stop that right now. That isn't so, and you know it. She said, now, if you don't like your roller skates, I can always take them back. I grabbed my roller skates and I ran upstairs and I threw them in my closet and I came back down and I was so upset I couldn't eat. And I went to school that way. And to make matters worse, I had an arithmetic test that day. And I came back and I went over to Laura's house and I said, I didn't get my bicycle. And I told her what had happened. And Laura said, I know you're disappointed. I know this hurts very much. But someday I bet you'll get your bicycle. And I know your mother loves you just as much as she loves your sister Helen. And she said, I've got something for you. And she gave me a birthday card. And inside was a brand new dollar. That was rare. I ever got a dollar back. And that helped a bit. And I went next door to Faith. And Faith said, well, where are bicycles? And I said, I didn't get them. And I was ready to cry, and Faith said, without any sympathy in her voice, you have mother. Mother not died. You have father. Father not died. You have brothers and sisters. They not died. You have house to live in. You have food. You not go hungry. Bicycle is little. I looked at her. Wasn't a little thing to me. And she looked back, and then she told me of the horrors they had gone through in World War II. The Germans invaded the country. There were bombs every morning when they woke up. They had to go up to the hills, to the caves, because planes came over and bombed the town. And there were days that they had no food. And when they came back from the caves, they never knew if they were going to have a house. And her brothers joined the resistance. And one of them was captured, and he was tortured so much he lost his mind. And one day, Faith and her mother were walking to the hills when they came across the German patrol, and their mother told her, run, quick! And her mother stayed behind. And they did what they wanted with her, and they left her for dead. But somehow she managed to survive, and it took a long time. And I went home, and I went upstairs, and I took my roller skates, and I put them on, and I cranked the key to fasten them to my shoes. Tried them out a bit. Actually, I liked the roller skate. Thought, okay, I guess I could have some fun. It wasn't a bicycle, but it was fun. And I went downstairs, and I thought Faith was wrong. Not having a bicycle on your bicycle birthday is a big thing. But I found out there were many things that were far worse.
Thank you, Pat. Wow. Amazing talks today. If you would complete your written evaluations, please. We have 30 seconds on the clock.